How come Mexico deports El Salvadorans, Hondurans, and such? How come they deport them? I thought they're telling us to take the people that they can't take care of, and they throw them on us and tell us that we're racist? Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, Zuckerberg, the devil, Zuckerberg, that phony, only wants cheap foreign labor, as does Microsoft, as does every company in America. There's a lot of blame to go around for the madness in this country right now. But all the blame goes to the top. The Obama administration is giving tips to illegals on getting work permits. They're destroying our borders, language, and culture. And don't think people aren't snapping. You say, wait a minute, Savage, what does this have to do with the shooting in Charleston? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Thought I'd bring it up, though. Thought I'd bring it up. You don't like my rhetoric? Too damn bad. I represent America, not Hillary Clinton. She represents a bunch of phony bankers and banksters. And she claims she's one of the regular people. Are you kidding me? She represents the worst evil the country could ever imagine. My friends, we are at the end of the road here. Either we defend this nation or we lose this nation. You know what that means, don't you? It doesn't mean go out and shoot anybody. It means speak out and be heard, or you'll be overrun like you don't exist. How do you feel about my opinion? I told you that the black church is the bedrock of the African-American community, in case you missed it. I told you that the Christian African-American practitioner is the only hope for the African-American community. What I'm astounded by is that the so-called conservatives in the media who keep talking about family values and keep talking about the black family having been disintegrated by liberalism, father being replaced by government, haven't gotten this, how they don't understand what was killed here. This was an attack upon the last vestiges of hope for the African-American community. Do you understand what this is symbolically? Do you understand how heartbreaking this is for everyone in the United States of America? Doesn't matter what your race is. I mean, your heart should be ripped out by this. I couldn't sleep last night. I was intimidated by my emotions. I frankly was intimidated to go on the radio today for fear that I wouldn't be able to control this show to say what I really wanted to say. But guess what? I'm in total control. I feel that I've said exactly what I wanted to say perfectly on the Savage Nation, and I didn't miss a beat. Oh, by the way, what's wrong with carrying a weapon into a church? Why shouldn't parishioners now be forewarned? Whether it's another punk like this or someone who hates Christians as they're doing in the Middle East, why shouldn't you be armed to protect yourself and your family? You understand now that the church is no longer a sanctuary in America. The doors have been kicked down everywhere. There's no sanctuary in America. Liberalism has broken the doors of every sanctuary in the country. They have polluted everything with filth. They have broken the minds of our youth with drugs. They have broken the soul of America with their pornography. And they've broken America with their disrespect for God and the family and the flag, by the way. Will you be in church this Sunday? Do you fear something like this happening at your church Sunday or another day? Does this rattle your faith? Does this rattle your faith in any way? Now, some of you understand how dangerous the world is in which we live. You have the Southern Christian, whatever that group, now I assume the Southern Poverty Law Center, which in my opinion is a terrorist organization. In my opinion, if we had a true Republican administration, they would investigate the amount of money that the SPLC has shaken down from groups they hate, and they would go after them to see why they have stirred up such race hatred in the country. You want to look at haters in the country? Look no further than the Southern Poverty Law Center and take a look at the things they've stolen from people under the guise of liberalism. That's one man's opinion, of course. I know many of you have a lot to say about this, just as the president immediately went after guns and gave a boohoo face, pretending he was so saddened by this shooting in North Carolina, South Carolina, Charleston. Just so saddened by it. And then he dashed off on Air Force One, where he had a happy face as he raised money in Beverly Hills. Sad face, happy face, sad face. Yes, a man for all seasons. Meanwhile, the First Lady and the First Daughters are having a shopping trip in Italy, courtesy of the U.S. taxpayer, One of the first daughters is wearing ripped jeans as she gets off Air Force One. What a great image it is for America. And we're not allowed to say anything. The king has no clothes. The king's family has no protocol. We're not supposed to notice that. And we don't have to say a word about the mother-in-law and the daughters flying around on a shopping trip in Italy. Can you believe this? Can you believe what we're living through? I want to talk about the loss of human life. I want to talk about how this piece of garbage, coward vermin from hell took away 9 lives, the best of the African-American community. And make no mistake about it, the Christian African-American community is the bedrock. It's the spine of the African-American community. It is the only hope for the African-American community. And this coward chose to kill 9 of them. The coward was a racist. The coward was a segregationist. Coward was a sicko. Why didn't the coward, the brave coward, go into, let us say, a neighborhood in Baltimore run by the Crips and Bloods and express his rage there? Could it be because he would have been killed instantly? Of course. So he chose a church group, the best of the African-American community, wiped off the planet in the United States of America in 2015. Christians killed in the United States of America in a church. Not in Syria, not in Iraq, but in the United States of America in 2015. To me, it's an act of terrorism. I know many of you don't want to hear that because you've come to think that only Muslims can commit terror, which is largely true around the world. But here we have an atheist committing an act of terror. A brainwashed atheist, an atheist whose soul was destroyed in the public schools, destroyed by the American Medical Association. An atheist whose soul was annihilated by drugs, drug-related offenses, dropped in and out of school. This child was raised without Christian values. He was raised with no values whatsoever. He was raised on the liberal credo, the credo of Obama and Hillary Clinton, which is do what you feel like doing, that there is no Christianity. If it feels good, do it. You want to engage in sex? Go ahead. You want to be a woman while you're a man? Go ahead. You want to use drugs? Go ahead. You don't feel good? Pop a pill. You don't feel good? Go to your crackpot with a stethoscope and he'll give you some drugs. You see, all Christian values have been driven out of the schools and the culture by the liberals. They've been replaced with a vacuum. Do as you please. Do whatever you want. So it's not only about racism here. It's about the anti-Christian drug, sex, and rock and roll culture that has turned some of our youth into robots. Robots, social pathologues, sheeple with no values, some of them monsters who have no values except to destroy others. And yet there's the issue of the father who gave him a gun allegedly. Now, you know it's a felony to give a gun to someone who has been arrested and has a criminal record. That's a story unto itself. The doctor should be investigated for having given him drugs. Dangerous drugs. Dangerous drugs. Be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. The devil who killed those innocent black people. And I'm relating it to the Charles Manson theory of helter-skelter to start a race war in America because this punk said that he wanted to start a civil war. Do you know that or not? That's been left out of all of the news reports except one. He's the Charles Manson of our time. Only he's committed a crime, murder's worse than what Manson did. I'm surprised no one in the media has noticed this. I'm sure it'll be on Fox and Friends before it leaves my mouth. And I'm sure the leg crossers will have it by tonight. I'm positive Martha Washington will make reference to it, ripping me off as usual. But okay, doesn't matter what people do. As Lao Tzu said, it doesn't matter who rips your ideas off as long as your ideas are used. I am telling you, this guy is the Charles Manson of our time. It's like history repeating itself. It's the scenario that Charles Manson wanted to start a race war, which he called helter-skelter, which was committing these horrible murders in the Hollywood Hills and then blaming it on blacks. And then there would be a murderous rampage against blacks by frightened whites. Well, now it's the reverse. And we're all fearing a murderous rampage against whites by blacks to provoke an internecine war of near extermination. That's what we could have happen here in this country right now. Make no mistake about it. You may think it's behind us. You're mistaken. Oh, I wish I could sit here like a Pollyanna and say it's going to be forgotten. It won't be forgotten. It won't be forgotten. And by the way, it shouldn't be forgotten. I didn't say that there should be murders in reaction to the murders. No, but I said it will not be forgotten, nor should it not be forgotten. These were the bedrock of the African American community. They were the bedrock, the granite, part of the granite of America. Granite is a multicolored stone. Granite. Look at granite. Gray, black, white, right? That's granite. They were part of the granite of America. And this subhuman blew away a big portion of the granite of this country. It's not going to heal so quickly. Don't fool yourself. You may think it's in the news cycle and it's over. But I don't live with the memory of a goldfish. I grew up in another generation. And I don't think everyone in this country has the mindset of a millennial who's already moved on to something else. So who do you blame? Everyone's got someone to blame. Harvey Weinstein, Katzenberg, Matzenberg, Ratzenberg, Spielberg. Violence, 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 violence. And then preaching about peace. Don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Sean Penn, Mr. Peacenik, Mr. Anti-Gun, does his last bomb called Gunman, waving a gun around, that impudent fool, running around with a psycho actress to show how potent he is. It's so patently clear to me how sick these people are. And don't think they're not the devils. They are. And don't think they have nothing to do with this violence. They do. Okay, yes, then there's politics. Some will blame conservatives. Some will blame liberals. Some will blame this one. Some will blame that one. Fingers will point in all directions. That's exactly what Charles Manson wanted. And that's exactly what this punk wanted. Make no mistake about it. Now, will cool heads prevail? I hope so. I would put a restraining order on Al Sharpton. I wouldn't let him cross state lines to incite a riot. I mean, if President Obama really wanted to stop repercussions from this tragedy, I would say this Holocaust against the black community really is what it is. 9 in one church? Wow. If Obama really wanted to stop it, if Attorney General Lynch wanted to stop it, they would put a restraining order on Al Sharpton and all the other race baiters who went to Ferguson and went to Baltimore. And they can do it. There's a federal law in the books, by the way, that would prevent those troublemakers from crossing state lines to incite a riot. She could do it. Let's see if she's real. Let's see how real Loretta Lynch is in preventing these troublemakers from crossing state lines to start a riot in South Carolina. That's all she has to do is say, hey, I'm Attorney General. No one's coming from out of state to start a riot in this state. And if you show up anywhere near it, we're going to arrest you under a federal anti-riot statute, which exists, by the way. It was passed in the 60s to stop this from happening. I haven't heard Loretta Lynch say that, strangely enough. I haven't heard Obama mention it. He dashed off to a fundraiser with the important people from Hollywood.
Savage.